Hello, my movie peeps. I appreciate you clicking on this video. Let me tell you some movie news. Some of the things we'll be discussing here today, guys, is I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the Alien Romulus trailer. What a glorious, fantastic trailer. We have an update in the DC universe pertaining to the Green Lanterns. A big story coming out about Avengers 5, who could be directing it, and how many characters will be in that movie. Oh, we're going to be talking about that along with so much more. So you guys know the drill. Leave your opinions down below. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Hit subscribe if you haven't. And well, let's just go ahead and get into it. So let's start off with some trailers that released the past couple of days that I got interested in. Starting off with The Killer's Game. This is a trailer that might look familiar to you, and that's because we first talked about it during CinemaCon, where attendees were shown this footage, and well, I gave you a description of it. So this stars Dave Bautista, who's going to be playing a hitman. He seems to be very good at his job until one day he finds out he's terminally ill and is going to die within the next 3 months. And because he doesn't want to suffer, dying slowly, he just decides, I'm gonna put a hit out on myself and let the best hitman take me out. Only problem is he finds out the doctors made a mistake, he's not dying, and now all these assassins are after him. It actually sounds like it could be a fun time. I will admit, from the CinemaCon trailer, they made it sound a little bit more comedic, but this is looking like it's fallen a little bit more on the serious side. There are some comedic moments in here, but I think it looks like it could be a fun time. Action looks like it's gonna be entertaining. It's rated R, so you got blood sputing everywhere. Yeah, I'm gonna be there to check this one out, so I'm gonna give it a treasure. Moving on here though, talking about Alien Romulus, I was looking forward to this dang trailer here, and it delivered. This is probably one of my favorite trailers I've seen in a long time, and it only further solidifies my confidence with Fede Alvarez taking over the Alien franchise. I've said it for the longest time, we need the horror back in Alien, and what Fede is doing in here, he's not only bringing back horror elements, he is getting creative and inventive. The little sequences we get in here of this X-ray light device showing a chest burster about to pop out of someone's chest, that was awesome. The little scene with red lights featuring a face hugger trying to put his little willy in your mouth. Oh my god, who else was disgusted during that? I never even envisioned that's what it looks like. Absolutely grotesque and nasty, but there's so many other more beautiful shots in here. I thought the sound design of this trailer was also fantastic. They're playing up on the infamous tagline of the original movie, you know, in space no one can hear you scream, and right when they're about to scream, we get to dead silence and a ding that I understand is maybe annoying to some people. They don't like that ringing sound in their ears, but I thought it was effective in what the trailer was trying to accomplish. Like, seriously, I just looked at this trailer and thought, I cannot wait to experience this movie on the largest theater near me. I also want you to notice in the trailer the huge difference practical effects make on the xenomorphs, because the director's already talked about he's going to do a mix of people in suits and CGI, and I think for the most part we are seeing practical effects, and it is making all the difference in how scary the xenomorphs are looking. But even with something as glorious and as beautiful as this, I am also surprised by some of the complaints from this trailer, man. You know, the biggest thing I was seeing people complain about is, why are there teenagers here? This is no slasher movie. What are you doing? Oh, what? I'm not kidding. Go to the comment section of anywhere this trailer is being played, and you will see several comments of people complaining about the teenage cast. For one, it's not really even teenagers. This movie takes place between the events of Alien 1 and Alien 2, and these are supposed to be young adults, people in their 20s, not teenagers, and just kind of following them. I like the young, refreshing cast. I think it's like a good age range and makes things feel almost different in the Alien world. But that honestly really did surprise me that people were complaining about that kind of stuff. Aside from the British accents in space. I guess British people aren't allowed to exist in space.
Something in the water.
Water! Come on now. So overall, extremely looking forward to this movie. I can't wait to experience it. And it's just so wild to think at one point Disney really thought, oh, it'd be better if we just release this on streaming. I'm glad it's getting a theatrical release. Moving on from there, since we're talking a little bit of horror, I want to talk about one of my favorite found footage horror franchises and it coming back. Earlier this week, we were being teased by Mark Duplass, who was the star of Creep 1 and 2. These are found footage horror movies that I believe premiered on Netflix and are honestly some of the best found footage movies out there. The essential premise is a guy puts an ad on Craigslist that, hey, can you film me for a day? I'll give you $500. Some poor sap responds to that ad and goes about filming this guy and then just has a terrible time. It's a really creepy, unsettling, but well acted movie. The first two films I really enjoy, and I have been begging for a third film, and it seemed like they were about to make that announcement, but instead we get in a television show. But I'm actually kind of excited for this. So Variety has it here that Creep Mark Duplass to adapt his Netflix horror movies into a TV series. The premise of the show is going to be the series is based on a collection of videotapes in the secret vault of the world's deadliest and most socially uncomfortable serial killer, who hires his victims to film him for the day under false pretenses. Each episode exposes a new victim from one of the fabled Creep tapes. I love the sound of this TV series, okay? Well, I really would have wanted a Creep 3 and just kind of a story that finishes off what was set up in Creep 2, or heck, even another random victim. This is a perfect way to go with it. I'm not only bringing this up to put you on and get you to watch those first two Creep movies, but I know if you're a fan of these films, you think also that's a great idea. Because throughout the first two movies, they show there's a collection of videotapes and that this crazy man has had tons of victims and has videotaped every encounter. To then see a TV show that's essentially going to be an anthology where every episode is a random victim that maybe got away or did get killed, I think sounds awesome. It's almost like getting 6 to 7 different little Creep movies all in one. And I haven't even told you the best news. They have already filmed this thing. It's shot, completed, and now it just needs to be released. I'm sure Netflix is going to pick it up, but if for some reason Netflix doesn't have the cojones to do it, Amazon, HBO Max, some of these other streaming services will get it. I will be there day one. You know, there used to be a time where I wasn't all that thrilled about a horror movie getting turned into a TV show, but now with what TV can do, it just seems like a good direction. Heck, they just announced the other day Paul Giamatti is going to be starring in a Hostel TV series. Would I have liked another Hostel movie? Sure, but also, you could definitely see how they could do a television angle of that too. Michael Myers is coming to TV, Jason Voorhees coming to TV. That's just the way it goes now, I guess. But for you Creep fans, are you excited about this television series? Moving on here, let's talk a little bit of an update involving the DC universe. Now, one of the projects ever since James Gunn took over and announced what he'd be doing that I was most excited for is the Green Lantern project. Way before there was a Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie or Green Lantern was looked at as kind of a joke character, I was always drawn to the Green Lanterns, their core, these basically police cops out there. I thought it was insane just because of one bad movie. Warner Brothers and DC thought, yeah, let's not try that again, when I'm like, if you do this right, this could be big. And I thought that's what would happen, you know, when James Gunn took over, he would give Green Lanterns their proper movie debut, but instead we're getting a television series, an HBO television series, so I'm like, all right, I'll let them cook. And now we got some details here that is kind of making some people weirdly mad. Looking at it here, we have an update that says Lanterns is eyeing to shoot in Q1 of 2025 in the UK. DC Studios is looking for a Hal Jordan between the ages of 43 to 49 years old and Jon Stewart between 27 to 35 years old. And I looked at that and I said, oh, cool. They're going to get started soon. Can't wait to see what the suits look like. Is this story about them in space, kind of going with a buddy cop angle, going to be cool? But then I saw most of the reactions online were pissed at how old Hal Jordan was going to be. Like the first comment of this post says, bro, why is Hal Jordan so old? And I was just seeing tons of reactions of people pissed off that Hal Jordan was like an old man here. And you know, as someone who's spending his last year in his 20s, because I'm currently 29 right now, I do not think 43, 49 for an actor is old. I mean, if you just pop up the list of actors that fit this description of who could be Hal Jordan, you got people like Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper, all people I would love to be Hal Jordan and don't really scream old, although they fit that age gap. I think people just have a weird perception of old. But I guess people also weren't loving the age gap between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart here, because it looks like there's going to be about 20, 15 years difference between them. But I also love that about. That's how I've always kind of seen Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart's relationship. I like this idea of like Hal Jordan kind of being the seasoned, mentored Green Lantern, while Jon Stewart kind of comes in as the rookie and, you know, learns a couple couple of things. As far as buddy cop situations, I feel like that's a good dynamic. So I don't know. Obviously, things in the DC universe have been very messy and people get mad about any little thing, but I thought this sounds good. I just want to see a good Green Lantern project, man. But maybe it's just me. So you guys out there, how do you feel about these age gaps for Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart? Are you excited for this TV show? Love to hear your guys' opinion. Moving on from there, let's talk about a giant update with Marvel, because it looks like we might have the person that could be directing the new Avenger movie. So although Deadpool 3 is coming out very soon, it just got confirmed to get its R rating. I'm so excited for that film, and I'm hoping it's going to be fantastic. The future after Deadpool does seem a little off, just with the uncertainty of what's happening with the Avenger movie. We still don't know if Marvel is going to be replacing Kang the Conqueror as the villain. Are they just going to recast Jonathan Majors? We know the movie is set to no longer be called Kang Dynasty, so what's the direction they're headed in? And well, an article with Deadline maybe clarifies some things up for us here. And they're saying here, with Deadpool and Wolverine set to save summer, Sean Levy top of list to direct Marvel's next Avenger movie, The Dish. And basically what they're saying here in this article is that Kevin Feige went up to Sean Levy and said, "Hey, you want to direct the next Avengers movie?" The article does make it known that he actually asked him this months ago, but there was some scheduling issues and it didn't look like he would be able to take on the job. But now months later, Sean Levy is looking to possibly be open for this, so there's a real chance he could get the job. I'm thinking it's definitely going to depend on the performance and fan perception of Deadpool 3, because although I think Deadpool 3 is going to make boatloads of money, people are a lot harsher on the MCU than they used to be, and if the fans don't respond to Deadpool 3, ain't no way he's getting that job. And we know this is true because Michael Waldron, who was up to write the next Avengers movie, was then let go of the film after fans really didn't respond to Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, there is another part of this article that is super interesting and could let us know the direction of Avengers 5, but just looking on the Sean Levy side of things, I wouldn't be against it. You know, I think there's a lot of Sean Levy hate online right now because of his movie Free Guy. And if you've been online, you remember people like really complaining about the cinematography and just look of Deadpool 3. But I feel like Sean Levy has proven that he's made some really great movies. Like, I go back to Real Steel and just how much I love that film. I'd like to believe he could definitely pull off an Avengers movie, but I'm not gonna lie, I really do want to see Deadpool 3 before I make a definitive decision. Because if it was just Free Guy, a movie I did enjoy, I did like, but I don't know if I love that enough to go, this guy should get Avengers. Especially when someone like Sam Raimi, who I think has a great creative visual eye, was like, yeah, I'd be down to direct the Avengers movie, but Kevin Feige hasn't called me about that. But in this article, they also mention maybe what they're going with for Avengers 5, and it sounds like a little desperation to me. In the article, it says, sources close to both projects say more than 60 MCU characters could reprise their role, including everyone from Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Hiddleston, Simu Liu, Karen Gillan. And that to there really kind of gives you an idea of the scope of Avengers 5, and it kind of makes sense a little bit. With all this like recent real Marvel hate and people, you know, being really angry with them and like, this better be 10 out of 10, Feige. You know they need to come out with a bang in Avengers 5 to then really excite people for Secret Wars, the movie where they're probably putting all their giant surprises for, right? Something like this where they say 60 characters could be showing up in this movie, all of like important MCU characters, really shows to me that they are like gonna do everything they can to make Avengers 5 look appealing, fun, and interesting to then hopefully have some pour over hype for Secret Wars. So we'll see what happens, but this is kind of what we got going on with Avengers 5 right now. What do you guys think of all these details? But anyways, guys, that is all movie news we can have going on right now. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of my day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.